Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi taala wabarakatuh, and a very good day to our lecturer Dr. Salama and to all my friends. We are from group 1. So today I'm going to present to you about a static code analysis tool, which is this topic we have been chosen from the list that have been given by our lecturer. So before that, I will introduce to you our group members. The first one is Iyas Rafiq Yassin Al-Sakaf. Second, Muhammad Syakir Alif bin Samsudin. Third, Muhammad Abdullah Faria Al-Azazi. 4, Muhammad Hilman Hakimi bin Abdul Rashid, which is that is me. 5, Muhammad Hazid Rifki bin Hassan. And the last one, Muhammad Afiq Zamil bin Samad. As you can see, this is table of contents, which is have a 5 part. The first is introduction. Second, software process model. Third, proposed software requirement. For study of similar software, and the last one, conclusion. So today I'm going to present to you about the introduction. So the introduction is, in the past years of many techniques for automated detection of software error in the source code have been recently developed with the use of techniques such as synthetic pattern machine, data flow analysis, model checking, and verification theorems. They are more or less successful to locate errors in the software code. Most of these tools are searching for the same types of programming mistakes, but only a couple have been tested to each other. In this work, we will study that static code analyzers can accomplish an attempt to give a systematic tree of static code analysis tools, function, and assets. So, at the same time, we can see that static code analysis is a function or work as a tools that will help the programmer to analyze their code or to spot the mistake in their code while they are writing or fix it. Beside that, there are so many helpful features in there, which is the first is finding the root cause of complex bugs. They can identify bugs from within your IDE, or while they can check their code or configure for any runtime environment. So that's all from me. I will pass to the next presenter. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum. My name is Muhammad Afiq Zamil bin Samad. Now I will present about software process model. In this software, we will use agile method as process model. Agile method break tasks into smaller iteration. The project scope and requirement are laid down at the beginning of the development process. Plans regarding the number of iteration, the durations, the scope of each iteration are clearly defined in advance. Agile methods are widely being used in software world recently. There are 6 phases in agile method, such as planning, design, development, testing, deployment, and review. In planning phase, initial documentation are created to list the initial requirement of the software. The development team will analyze the requirement, like the end result the software will achieve and the features that will and will not initially support for the software. The team will also do feasibility study to discuss relevant factors into account, such as economic, technical, and legal, to develop the software. Schedule and Gantt chart is also planned to help the work schedule of the software. Next is design phase. Design is a process of the system specifications turned into executable system. Design process activities such as architect design, abstract specification, interface design, component design, and data algorithm design is executed in this phase. For example, the team will define the frameworks, programming language, and libraries that is going to be used in this project. In development phase, the team will execute writing code process and convert the design documentation into actual software within the development process. Development phase is the longest as it is the backbone of the whole process in software development. Programming language, framework, and libraries that chosen in design phase will be used and executed in this process. The fifth phase is implementation and deployment. In this phase, software will be deployed on the server or specific market and provided to the end user. In this phase, customer experience and opinion is taken into credits for further upgrade or improvement for the software. And last but not least, the review phase. In this phase, once all the development phase are complete, and the technical leader will gather the development team to review the software progress made, whether it meet the requirement and goals set or not. Also, in this phase, new ideas will be introduced to resolve the problem arose during previous phase and current product for further improvement for the software. That's all from me.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum. My name is Muhammad Hazir Rifki bin Hassan. My metric number is DI 2019. Today I will propose software requirement that included in chapter 3 software engineering final project. Okay. What is requirement? Requirement are condition or capability possessed by software or system component to solve real world problem. The problem is to automate part of the system, fix the shortcoming of the existing system, to operate the device, and so on. The IEEE defines a requirement as the condition or capability required by a user to solve a problem or achieve an objective. A requirement or capability that must be met or possessed by a system or system component to meet a formal enforced contract, standard specification, or other documents. Documented representation of condition or capabilities as a condition in number 1 and 2. The number 2 is requirement describe how the system should act, appear, or perform. For this, when user requests software, they provide an estimate of what the new system should be able to do. In this system or software also uses some additional method to show the travel process in the production or movement of the system that works, such as graph, diagram, chart, or flowchart. For this project, it will use case diagram to show the flow how the system works based on the process that we put. In the table of content, there are two parts, which the first one is use case diagram, and the second one is technical specification. The first one, use case diagram. What is a use case diagram? Use case diagram is a dynamic or behavior diagram in UML. Use case diagram model the functionality of a system using actor and use cases. Use cases are a set of actions, services, and functions that the system needs to perform. In this context, a system is something being developed or operated, such as a website. The actors are the people or the entities operating under defined roles within the system. As we can see, through the system show that how this static code will work based on what type of language that user use to determine the error. We also create this tool to ease the user to find error in making coding. On that, by using this static analysis, you may find the problem that have in the coding once the code is created or updated. Refer to the use case diagram. Figure 2 will explain the main action occur in the system. This is the use case diagram for static code analysis tool use case diagram. As we can see, in this use case diagram, there are two actors playing a role in the system, which are programmer and technical lead. Programmer will, the first thing that they will do is programmer will configure the code analysis, which means they will configure the language that they use, and the code language is probably the same thing. And then the second thing is the programmer will insert the code where he going to manage code statement after configure the code analysis. And then the third one is the programmer and the technical lead can analyze the code based on their knowledge by checking line per line for the code. If the code they feel the code is already correct, The analysis tool will analyze the code and display 5 types of the error. The first error is programming errors, coding standard violation errors, undefined values errors, syntax violation errors, and security vulnerabilities errors. And at the same time, technical lead can generate report by themselves, or this analysis tool can help them to generate a report. The second one is technical specification. What is technical specification? Static analyzer area unit used for various functions such as security vulnerabilities and bug detection, verification of security properties, also as for program understanding. Formal static analysis makes us use of various approaches in the objective of analyzing the program while not capital punishment it. Control flow and data flow area unit 2 of the normally adopt formal strategies for the program representation and area unit employed in static code analysis. There are 5 technical specifications. First, model checking. Model checking is one in every of the formal approaches that was initially introduced by Stephen and Schmidt, and is applicable to program having finite state or that may be reduced to finite state. It's a method that permits the automatic verification of properties on finite state system. This approach needs the model construction and therefore the properties specification also. Model checking supports first the development of a model that is the transformation of the system into a formalism. Number 2 is control flow analysis. Control flow analysis is one in every of the commonly used techniques for static code analysis. The program control flow is captured as a directed management flow graph (CFG) and was initially introduced by Francis E. Allen. CFG is directed graph that's one to represent block of code within the shape of nodes. The management dependency in the sort of directed edges, beginning with associate entry node and terminal with the top purpose of the program. The third one is the data flow analysis. Data flow analysis, on the opposite hand, is predicated on the abstract illustration of the analyzed program linguistic and is targeted on the extraction of the attainable values of knowledge. It am representing information dependency within the ASC2 text file and permits to trace the effect of computer file. The fourth one, symbolic analysis, consists in considering the program variables. Consistent with Wolfgang Wogerer, the approach be seen as a compiler that interprets the program being analyzed to associate intermediate language, consisting of symbolic expression and recurrences. This system is supported by PC pure mathematics system that adopt simplification strategies to make sure the standard of the output result. The last one is info flow analysis. Information flow is principally analyzed mistreatment dynamic analysis approach. However, static code analysis may want to approximate the data flow and guarantee their security, consistent with Pistoia et al. In the information flow world, we have the tendency to distinguish the direct and indirect information flow. The direct arises from the direct information flow, and therefore the indirect is elicited indirectly by branching management flow. That's all from me. Thank you.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. I'm Iyas Yasin, and I would like to speak about the study of similar software. In our project, we have been choosing Polyspace Bug Finder as a study of similar software. Our study's goal is to identify the flaws and bugs throughout the existing software. Polyspace Bug Finder identifies runtime errors, concurrency issues, security, and other defects in C and C++ embedded software using static analysis, including semantic analysis. Polyspace Bug Finder analyzes software control, data flow, and inter-user behavior by highlighting defects as soon as they are detected. It lets you trigger and fix bug early in the development process. As we can see in this picture, using polyspace while you are writing the code within an IDE such as Visual Studio or Eclipse, you might find problems as soon as the code is created or updated. In this picture, integrate polyspace bugfinder with any compiler, target processor, and RTOS environment. Also, if you generate code from different resources, you can analyze the generated code for bugs or runtime errors with polyspace, as you can see in trace code analysis.
Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I am Mumin Abdul Nafar Al-Azazi. I will speak about existing software issues. One of it is issues that the software only supports C and C++ language only and cannot identify other languages. It has been built to identify runtime errors, concurrency issues, security vulnerabilities, and their defects in C and C++. The other issues in the software when something is not a defect in the code. For an example, adding a comment for the line or of the comment has 2 or 3 lines. It can be difficult. Now I will talk about observed bug. Since the software is a bug finder and the stats code analysis, it's quite difficult to find a bug in it. But there is one bug that needs to be fixed. When simulating a real-time operating system and firmware, it can be quite difficult if you are doing multiple threading in different unitary points. It causes the software to crash and close.
My name is Muhammad Syakir Ali bin Samsudin and my metric number is DI 2020. Okay, now I will talk about the conclusion of this project, a static code analysis tool. Okay, in the conclusion, static analysis tool is an effective system that will help the programmer or user to identify the error quickly and correctly. It will help the programmer and user reduce their time and energy in find and solve the problems. It is because the static code analysis tool can analyze the error specifically and suggest the programmer and the user the correct way in writing programming language. It helps a lot in terms of developing programming writing skills. At the same time, static code analysis is also an important part of ensuring that application function as expected. It not only improves the overall development team velocity, but also reduces risk associated with releasing potentially dangerous software. This software will be integrated into the large software testing infrastructure, which is to maximize the effectiveness of the practice. Okay, that's all from me, and I will say thank you to all of my teammates, and if you guys have the question, you will ask after this, and inshallah we together can answer your questions. Assalamualaikum.